before I got on the call.
It's okay.
Yeah, I am all set when you are, though.
Okay. I kind of want to start with, how do you pronounce your last name?
What's that?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Gio.
Gio.
Yep.
Okay. And for, a lot of people don't know that there is a Rutland City Patrol, and even if they heard of it, they don't know how it started. So how exactly did it start, and what inspired you to start Rutland City Patrol?
So I've lived in Rutland my whole life, pretty much. And honestly, I get on Facebook and all these other, places, social media, like a lot of other people do, and every time I got onto Facebook, it was Rutland this, Rutland that, and this person did that, and just the crime, or you would always see nothing but negativity, and so I was just thinking one night, there's got to be something that we can do, or something, we need change. We got to figure out how to come together as a community and do something to see if we can prevent some of this from happening. And that's where I came up with the Rutland City Patrol, and that was pretty much me for quite a while by myself. I would just go out at night and patrol the streets, and if I see anything that looked at a place, I would call PD or just reach out and talk to that person and do whatever, just to try preventing anything that maybe was going on.
Yeah.
But now there's a team of we're a solid 4 right now that pretty much go out pretty much every night of the week. Sometimes we get busy and we got things to do, but yeah, we pretty much go out usually every night. We have our hot spots that we hit, and we just basically just ride around, and we're basically just eyes and ears, and if we see something, we might say something, or call down to the PD and get an officer to respond down there. But I think a big part of it is just people seeing that we're out there, and I think that helps tremendously. In fact, I know it does.
Yeah. And so, well, some people are wondering whether you see something going on and get in, physically get involved with it.
Yeah, it's kind of situational.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, if we get there early enough and we see something, then I'll just make a call down to the PD and let them handle it.
Yeah.
But there have been a couple times where, for instance, there was one guy that was getting into cars down on Harrington Ave.
Yeah.
And he was already gone, walking away. So I just pulled up and let him know, who we are, what we're doing, and that there are people watching him. And but it's pretty, it's situational. I always tell my guys, don't ever put yourself in danger. But unfortunately, maybe sometimes you gotta, maybe step up or get out and see what's going on before PD arrives or whatever. It really depends what's going on. If somebody's in danger, then I have no problem getting out and trying to stop it before PD gets there.
Yeah. Do you do any kind of, I guess, training or of any kind with people that do patrol? Do you give them instructions or anything like that?
Yeah. So the guy. So I've gotten plenty of training. I did the volunteer police department in California when I lived out there for a couple of years in Oregon. And then the guys, we got one guy, Brandon, he's in the National Guard, so he has tons of training. And the other guy, Dan, is, an older gentleman. He's a school teacher, and he has quite a bit of training. But we do look into doing, firearm trainings, all that type of stuff. And maybe we're open to taking more classes and stuff like that. And we're still trying to figure some of that out on the best courses to take and stuff. But we're all pretty much know how to handle most situations that come up. I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them you can kind of figure out how to handle them, and we try to handle them the best we can, and obviously peacefully, and not to make more work for the city police officers than they already have.
And what's the craziest situation that you came upon?
The craziest one that I've dealt with is there was a guy, he was on, I can't remember if it was Forest or Granger Street, but he was literally punching his girlfriend in the face. This was last year, and I got out to intervene. He took off, and then I believe the PD ended up getting him, and then the woman didn't press charges, but then I guess the PD had to or something like that. But it was crazy because most nights that we go out are pretty, boring. We might see a few things here and there, and then something like this could happen. And by the time, I witnessed it going on, and I don't know what had happened if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, if nobody was there to call PD or anything like that, it could have ended up being a lot worse than it already was. But yeah, that was probably the worst one. But we've seen quite a bit of stuff.
So, so pretty much you encounter people being assaulted. Have you encountered people trying to sell drugs?
I personally see a ton of it. I get a lot of messages that I pass on, and I don't really give out too much info. I'm not going to say. I'm
not asking for any of that. I'm just asking, if you encounter that.
In Rutland, there's a lot of it. I know a lot of the police departments are already aware of where it's coming from, but it's sickening to sit there and watch all the drug activity that happens in Rutland. I mean, I can take anybody to a spot, and you can literally just watch cars pull up all night long. We sat in one spot, and within 2 hours, there was 26 cars that pulled up.
Yeah.
And then left, and it's clearly drug activity. And the hard part with that is you don't know if they're being watched already, or it's a tough situation. But to answer your question, it's sick to see how much drug activity there is in Rutland itself. There's a lot more than people think there is.
I'm sure of that. I grew up here and graduated from Rutland High School, and I think that I probably wasn't aware of a lot of things that were going on back then, and now I'm aware of a lot more, but I find it sickening that some people on the, like, say they look us up, all they find out about is the drugs. A lot of people that are searching for something about Rutland on the internet, most of what they end up with is drug related, the fentanyl and things like that, and the addictions and stuff, and they kind of miss the other stuff. There are good things too, and I just hope that somehow things turn around and we can stop being called Rut Vegas. We need a different nickname.
Yeah, it's pretty. I've actually talked to people that won't even come to Rutland because of all the drugs and all that stuff. And same thing with Burlington's pretty bad too. But there's a lot of people that don't go to Burlington. But I guess for anyone that lives in Rutland, I would tell them to go out late at night, go out at like 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and just cruise around, because it's a completely different world at that time.
Yeah.
You just see so much activity. It's just I guess I don't have all the answers, but there has to be more that we can do.
Yeah. Have you seen issues with the homeless? Possibly, I would actually imagine that people that are homeless are targeted, as far as victims of crime, but probably also involved in it.
Yeah, I see a lot of both sides. I've had some of them tell me, we break into cars, we do this, we do that, just so we can feed ourselves, and we can do this and that. There's a lot of them that do it for the drugs and other reasons, but there's quite a bit of them that are just trying to survive. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. But,
yeah.
But a lot of them just, you can get so much info out of them, and they'll tell you anything. But there's definitely certain ones that are, addicted to all the drugs, and they just go out every single night. And when I say every night, I mean every night. And they just scope places out, and they see where they can get into cars, or see what they can take from this driveway or driveway. And we've seen it multiple nights where you'll see somebody walking, and normal people, when they're walking down the street, they might be looking around a little bit, but I've witnessed people walking down the street and literally checking every single driveway, and it's like, you know what they're doing, and it's sad because, I mean, if they're trying to do it to feed themselves, it's we have to get more help out there. There's got to be changes that have to be made.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
But they're not. You know, a lot of people think that all the homeless people that we have in Rutland are bad people, and I can tell you that most of them aren't. There are some that are, you know, that are bad and are into the drugs and, you know, the theft and this and that, but most of them just want to be left alone and just want to, you know, they're obviously going through a hard time, and they just want to be left alone, basically.
Yeah, and they don't want to be labeled either, along with the ones that are a problem.
Yeah. But, yeah. It's another thing that's sad for the city is, like, anytime you go to, like, I'm sure you've been up to Green Mountain Plaza, or now it's at CVS, and anytime you go into these places, you see the people panhandling for money, and if you go up to the Green Mountain Plaza, there's literally people that stand there, and they're nodding off from drugs, pretty much falling over in the street, and it's, you know, if it's an out-of-stater, and they're seeing that, I mean, are they going to want to come to the city where they're like, look at this, you know, look at what's going on in the city?
Yeah, they definitely should be cracking down on the panhandling.
Yeah, and it's sad. This city, I love this city, and I hope that maybe one day it'll get back to what it used to be, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it's definitely sad and scary at the same time, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Do you have protocols in place for people that are volunteering to ensure their safety?
Yeah, we usually, if we get somebody new, we'll kind of have a little meeting with them, and first and foremost, I tell them, you know, most of the time, like, don't ever leave your vehicle. Just make that call to PD and get them en route. If you have to leave your vehicle, wait till PD gets there and then tell them what you need to tell them. But most of the time, we tell them not to leave the vehicle at all. And like I said, certain situations, if, you know, somebody's getting hurt or something like that, if any of us feel the need that, you know, we can intervene or whatever, we do that sometimes. But for the most part, I tell all my guys or girls, whoever does it, to kind of, safety's number one thing, because the last thing we need to do is make more work for the police officers. And, you know, if there's a fight going on, there's no jumping out and getting involved in it if it's between two.
It looks like we got disconnected. I'm going to call back.
Voice messaging system.
Nope.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 802345335.
Okay. I'm going to try again.
Automated voice messaging system.
I'm going to send a message on Facebook Messenger just to let them know that we got disconnected. Oh. Hello. I don't know what happened, but
I don't know if it was my phone or your phone.
I don't know. I don't know either.
Yeah.
But I'll let you pick up where where we left off.
Yeah, so like as I was saying, I don't know how much you heard, but for the most part, I tell everybody stay in the vehicle.
Yeah.
And call PD. I don't want anybody to get hurt or anything like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if there's certain situations, somebody's beating up a child or somebody's hitting on a woman or something to that effect, then I'll gladly get out and see if I can intervene.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I tell everybody stay in the vehicle and just call PD as soon as you see something wrong.
Do you want to share anything about other ways you might help people through the Rutland City Patrol?
Yeah, I mean, we always need, the biggest thing is numbers. I think that's huge, especially in the city that we're in. If we can get more numbers out there and get more cars and more people to be the eyes and the ears and really show people that we're out there and we're doing what we're trying to do. One of the, talking to a police officer, and he said, one of the biggest problems is everybody has porches and nobody's on them. And what he means by that is nobody's out there sitting watching. Because a lot of these problems, whether it's car thefts or people breaking into your car, the drugs or the drug dealers or the drug users, a lot of that stops if they're being watched and they know they're being watched. And that's what a lot of people get, they get mad at the police department because,
Okay, somehow we got disconnected again. It must be something with the network here. I'm just gonna wait because I'm pretty sure he's gonna call back again. But one of the issues that some people bring up is that they're worried that the patrols through Rutland City Patrol will get overly involved, maybe leading to a problem. But you heard him. He said that most of the time they don't even get out of the vehicle. Hello again.
They don't want us to do this interview, I guess.
Yeah, the universe, I don't know, there's some kind of evil something out there. Yeah.
But what I was getting to is like, a lot of people are getting frustrated with the police officers, and I can kind of see both sides. Like, I've called many of times, and there's one dispatcher in particular, I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but when you call, they're just straight out rude to you.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel terrible when you're calling for something and they just give you attitude. It's like, okay, it might, persuade you not to call next time because of that. But I see a lot of people, a lot of frustrations. I get tons of messages every day, every week. People saying that, why can't the cops do more? Why can't the cops do this? And I don't have all the answers, but I know I think it's as simple as, if you were to call up and say, well, I believe, these people next door are selling drugs.
Yeah.
I just don't see why a police officer can't go knock on the door and say, hey, we got a call. There's a lot of activity here. I know, we might, we kind of think we know what's going on. I would probably, probably watch it or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And I think that would do so much rather than just leave them there, because it takes months and months and months to build a case and to get it. And by then, how many drugs are pouring into this city? How many people are overdosing? You know what I mean? So there's got to be more that we can do to stop this quicker. Or at least let the drug dealers know, hey, we got people out there watching. It's just not the police. We got people out there watching. And if you're dealing drugs in this city, the cops are going to know about it and you're going to get taken out sooner than later, Yeah,
I agree. When I was younger growing up here, I remember we didn't have a car for a long time, and my siblings and mom and grandmother, we'd go for walks. An old-fashioned thing to do. We would go for walks, and while we were walking by the people who were sitting on their porch, they'd have conversations with us, and while we were walking by, and everything was just I don't know. I guess that's vintage, vintage neighborhood or something. And I think a lot of people, maybe they don't feel safe to sit out on the porch, but also so many people are involved with their technical devices now and that sort of thing. And so maybe they can take their technical device out on the porch.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. And like I said, I mean, the more people you have, I mean, like, for example, right now there's 4 or 5 of us on the patrol, and we go out as much as we can. Can you imagine what, 200 or 300 people doing what we do as out there every night doing? I mean, it would just make a huge impact. And
absolutely.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll get there. But if you look at like most states and a lot of the bigger cities, a lot of them have like community policing or like a volunteer program or something going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult in Rutland. It is.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I wanted to touch on is the relationship with the community and our police department. I think right now is terrible, and I don't know how we fix that. But I really think that's a huge start. Is we all have to come together as one instead of like a lot of people I talk to they think the police aren't doing anything. When they call, they get, we can't do nothing, have a good night. And it's just, there's obviously laws and rules and stuff that they have to follow, but a lot of times they can do a little bit more, even if it's just going over to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
But hopefully one day that fixes itself or comes together or something. But
yeah,
I'm not sure how you would fix that, but it is, that's huge with that relationship. If you have a good relationship with police officers in the city, it's a good thing, obviously.
What ways can individuals in the community or possibly organizations support or help the Rutland City Patrol in what it's doing?
The main thing I would say is, get a hold of me, and it's not just, I think with a lot of people, it's not about just patrolling. It's about, if you want to become a part of the team, it's, you could sit on your porch and watch something, or you could, there's many things you can do besides patrolling that would help us out, whether it's just, town gossip or watching or finding out info. There's just, if the more eyes and ears we have, the more info we can get, and the better that, we can hopefully make all this, the problems of the city go away. But if anybody wants to reach out, we're gladly looking for people. It's kind of a tough gig because, especially if you patrol, my guys are great. Like I said, my guy Brandon, and my guy Dan, they've never complained once. We do get some donations for gas and stuff like that. For the most part, we've used a lot of our own money for gas, vehicle repairs, that type of thing, which me personally, I don't mind doing, and I know them too don't mind doing it. But it's always nice if somebody, could donate a gas card or something like that. It really helps us out a lot more than people think, and it keeps us out there a little bit longer.
If someone wants to donate a gas card, where would they send it, or how do they get it to?
I think I have my Venmo and my Cash App on the patrol page. And then anybody that doesn't know, I work at Speedy Loop, so anybody could stop up there. We've had quite a few people stop up there and make donations before.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it's a business owner, we always like to work with business owners. We'll, throw them up on our page and do a sponsorship for any amount of donation. We'll,
okay,
put their business up there, and that'll help them get customers. And we have a few businesses now that are just great. Lakes Auto, are just, I can't say enough good things about them. Speedy Loop, Speedy Automotive, just great people that have really helped us and kind of let us do what we want to do. Steve's Window Cleaning down at the Amtrak, he's been phenomenal. We got a lot of good people that support us, but we could always use more.
Yeah, that's fantastic about the ones that are supporting. For people that aren't on Facebook, would you mind giving out the Venmo information or the Cash App?
Yeah, so the Venmo is Chris/Gio, G-H-I-O, and then I believe the Cash App is the same thing, just no space in it.
Okay.
And then, I just changed my number on the Facebook page on the Rutland City Patrol. That's my main phone number. So if anybody has any questions or, wants to donate or anything like that, or if you're a business owner, and you want us to, patrol your property, like I said, we do all that. You can give us a donation. You don't have to give us a donation. That's fine. We'll gladly, look after it and kind of drive by at night. And we're just there to, I love this city, and I feel, it makes you feel good when you can give back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long, what's the longest amount of time? Like, say, if you went out last night or the night before, what's the longest amount, number of hours that you have patrolled in, like, one night?
Yeah, so I work full time, so it's kind of tough, but I have Sunday off, so we've actually been out Saturday night, and it's been busy. And when I say busy, I mean the scanner's hopping, and people are messaging me saying this and that. And we've actually stayed out 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning before, just because it's been so busy. And it's like everybody thinks, 11, 12 o'clock people are in and this and that, but it's a whole new world. Especially 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, there's nights where it's peaceful, you don't hear anything, and then there's other nights where there's just stuff going on all over the place. And those are the fun nights where you get out and you get to, actually feel like you're helping and doing something.
Yeah. Well, how about if you are patrolling for that long, you've got to eat or something at some point.
Yeah.
What about? I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe somebody listening, when this gets posted, would you be willing to accept some kind of donation for the people patrolling? Like, say, if somebody wants to fix up a bagged lunch kind of a thing, or maybe pay for coffee or something like that.
Yeah, no, that would be great. We're open to all that. And
yeah.
Like I said, donate like a gas card or coffee card or anything like that. And hopefully in the near future, I'm hoping, to start maybe like a Rutland City Patrol fund.
Okay.
And I'm hoping everybody can pitch in to where, I'd love to be able to get a program going to where, we can get kids bicycles, or we can give the homeless some clothing, or we can have a fund to where if people are in need, if there's families out there that don't have Christmas, we can all chip in as a community and help them, make that happen for them. But I think that's a little ways down the road. But,
yeah, that's a great idea, because, some people might be committing crimes or theft to try to sell something because they can't afford things.
Right. We actually just bought, there's a couple people that donated, but there was a little boy that his bike got stolen, and we actually went and got a couple donations, and we went and purchased him a bike and brought the bike down to him, and he was a happy little boy when we got that. And that's the community effort there, which is it's a great feeling when you can get back to the community like
Fantastic.
that. Yeah, it's great.
Do you have any, I guess, parting comments?
Yeah, I mean, my parting comments would be, to the people in the city, get involved, and you can make more of a difference, especially if we have numbers. And then to them people committing the crimes, just know that we're out there. We're watching you. We're taking your plate numbers down. We're passing your info on to the authorities, and I want you to know, just like I said before, if you're going to deal drugs in Rutland, we're going to turn you in. It's not just the police. It's, members of the community are watching you as well, and you're going to get caught. It's only a matter of time. But if, I have tons of people that are messaging me and giving me so much info, and it might not be, you might never see a cop watching you or somebody else, but trust me, if you're here dealing drugs, we know who you are, and we know where you're doing it from, and it's only a matter of time. So you might want to pick a different city to kind of go to and get
your days are numbered, right?
That's right.
Yeah. It's been a great talk, and I'm happy to finally talk to you sort of in person, but
I'll meet up one day. It's been great, and I appreciate the chance to do this. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah, well, I don't have a lot of quote-unquote technical followers, but I know that there's a lot of people listening, and the second episode of the podcast was on a list of Vermont podcasts for 2024. And then when I saw that, it was kind of by accident that I ended up running across that. And then I thought, well, I guess I should make more episodes because somebody might be waiting for some. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's why I ended up continuing things. I originally started the podcast because I was in a class, and it was a class assignment that I was doing. But now it's just turned into an agenda.
Yeah. And it's nice because you kind of get somebody filling you in on what's going on, strictly in Rutland, and it's nice. I love it. Yeah, I've listened to everyone.
Hopefully it's gonna make a human aspect out of things instead of people just looking at stuff online and finding your Facebook page and stuff like that. Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. So I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
You have a great night as well. Thank you again.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, you just heard all of that great information from Chris Dio, the leader and founder of Rutland City Patrol. Thank you for tuning in to the episode 4 of LTN Light the Night. I hope you were inspired by our discussion and are ready to join us in supporting efforts to reduce crime in Vermont. Remember, change starts with each and every one of us. Just like Chris said, we need more people watching, sitting on the porches, being out and, reporting things. And like you said, when the criminals end up finding out they're being watched more, they're not going to be doing so much. Let's work together and create a safer and brighter future for our communities, for Rutland City, and for Vermont. When you can, contact your legislators to talk about needed changes in Vermont crime laws. Stay positive, motivated, and let's make a difference together. Thank you for listening, and until next time, shine bright.